Parshat Bo begins with the plague of Arbeh, the plague of locusts. And this was a massive, massive swarm, never seen before in that region, that came on the wind, came into Egypt and just absolutely decimated all of the vegetation, as they do when you have these massive, massive swarms of millions and millions of locusts. And what's very fascinating is that if we look in Parshat Shmini, where the Torah is speaking about the kosher animals and the non-kosher animals, it speaks about mammals, about beasts, it speaks about fish, it speaks about birds, and it speaks about insects. And pretty much all insects are not kosher, and it's quite a serious prohibition to consume insects. But there is an exception, and that is certain types of locusts. Now, Rashi already writes, and Rashi was writing this many hundreds of years ago, he said, we're not entirely sure which ones are kosher anymore. We've lost the identification. Rashi, of course, was living in France, and it was close to 1,000 years ago. There weren't many locusts there. But of course, in certain countries, like in Yemen, the Jews still had the tradition. In fact, till this very day, Yemenite Jews might consume certain locusts. What is so special about the locust that it should be a kosher insect? Well, the Torah, of course, doesn't give us a reason. But if we have a look at a locust, the word here is arbeh. And arbeh comes from rav. Rav means many. A locust really only has power when it's together with many other locusts. To begin with, the locust is more like a grasshopper. It has a solitary life. It's not aggressive. And then there are certain climatic changes that take place, and it actually changes the body of this grasshopper and transforms into a locust, and then they gather together with many other locusts, and that is when they are powerful. By themselves, they cannot do any danger whatsoever. Nothing. They can nibble a few blades of grass or leaves. But when they come together, this is when they are powerful. And this, I believe, is a siman. This is an indication for the Jewish people. And this is why the locust is the only kosher insect. Because when we're by ourselves, we cannot do much. We can't achieve that much. Yes, we can have impact upon this one, upon that one. But for the Jewish people to be powerful and together, we have to be united. As it says in Parshat, as Rashi quotes in Parshat Yitro, when they came to Mount Sinai, they were like one man with one heart. When we come together, Barov Am Hadrat Melech, in big crowds, in big gatherings, in a united fashion, that's where we have power. That's what Moshe said when he blessed the Jewish people at the end of his life. He said, Yachad Shiftei Yisrael. When will the king be amongst the nation? Yachad Shiftei Yisrael, when the Jewish people are together. Only when we are combined, just like that swarm of locusts, do we have power, can we achieve success. But if we're all doing our own thing, as the Talmud says, everybody's building their own little altar, we can't achieve much. Let's take this opportunity to come together and to show the strength of the Jewish people. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.